What's up, guys?
Hey.
How's it going? Yeah, you guys are the brains behind the Trekko app. Trekko app is nationwide.
Well, yeah, technically international.
Okay, international.
We have some trails in Mexico, Canada, and actually a small following in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So you guys, when did you start Trekko app?
We started this during the pandemic, so like July 2020. Yeah.
July 2020. So you guys developed the Trekko app, and basically it's a trail conditions app that super easy to go on there, update what's going on in the parks. Not a whole bunch of other stuff jammed in there. Just a really simplistic app that before you go for a ride, you can look it up, and it's got like how much, when it rained last, and how much it rained, all that cool stuff, right?
Yeah, you nailed it. So like it was specifically made. We designed it to be very simple. There's other solutions that exist right now. So like the first one we saw was the Gork page that has the trail conditions on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw the Facebook page for St. Louis mountain bikers where like literally every hour you can get a, what's rideable?
Yes.
How is Chubb or whatever?
Yeah.
So we thought, can we make a simpler solution? And this already exists kind of in a small like part of Mountain Bike Project. They have a trail condition reporting section, but it's really cumbersome to get to it. And if you already know your trails, you don't care about a map. You don't care about the other stuff. You just want to see like what's rideable right now when you're sitting on the couch and you're about to grab your bike and hit the trail. So that's why we made Trekko app.
Yeah, and it's really easy to contribute as well because you literally open up the app. It automatically takes you to where you're at. You just click on the bubble and then report the trail condition within like 3 buttons. I mean, it is really nice. And like, I know even with like the Weather Channel app or like the free weather app on my phone, there's so many freaking ads and like so much going on. Like even to look and see what the weather is going to be later in the day or has been or whatever, it's really difficult to see or to get to the radar and look at like, okay, how fast are these clouds moving? Like all this kind of stuff. That's all difficult to do. It's nice to be able to just kind of go on something that's going to be clean and simple. Yeah.
And reporting, you just did your first report a couple hours ago.
Yes. It was pointed out to me very quickly though that I'm just user, blah 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 blah. So I need to figure out before we get done today. We'll maybe towards the end will walk me through changing my username, which I have a feeling it's not going to be a very hard process.
Yeah, but you did realize that you didn't need to be a member to like make a report at all. So like you said, like 3 buttons.
I did not notice that. I just assumed I was a member since I had the app on my phone. So I'm not a member then.
Right. So you can, as soon as you download, you can report, and it's going to just be generic user, just a Trekko user. Then if you want to go one step further, you make a profile, and then you can actually do a custom free text report. Because what you saw was just pills, right? That said like tacky, muddy, loose, dusty, whatever.
Right.
So you can choose from predetermined pills without ever making a profile, without even giving us your email or anything, and just give us the trail condition. That's what's really nice. That's what's also very different from trying to report on Gork. You'd have to make a profile. You don't need a Facebook page. You don't need a mountain bike project profile. You can just download it and start reporting immediately.
That is nice because that's what I did today. I mean, I've had the app, but I've never reported because I haven't been mountain biking lately.
All right.
So I have not felt the need to do that. But I knew today that the Eureka Mountain Bike Park was muddy. Yes, we're in the parking lot, and it's been raining for the last 2 days straight. We just had customers try to break in.
Just trying to break in right now?
They were trying to buy some stuff from us, but we were after hours.
Okay, so they're not trying to break in.
Normally I will let people in, but we're having a very important conversation about rainfall.
They probably saw the lights and they thought something was going on. Wanted to be a part of it.
Something is going on. Yeah, they were fans.
We actually, we tweeted there should be some people arriving.
Heck yeah, dude, with the signs.
Some stickers,
yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that. Okay. Yeah, that would make people feel really special when we're talking about things.
True. Yeah.
No, I think that's really interesting. I had no idea that I can't think of any other app that I use that lets me interact with it without.
Same. Yeah. So like the first level of interaction is you download it and you're just looking at trail reports that other users have made.
Right.
Step 2 is you actually provide a report, which is what you just did, and you don't even have to make a profile.
Right.
3 is I want to write something custom like, the drop at Chubb, the rocks are loose or whatever. I don't know, something specific.
Right.
So you got to make a profile to do that, to get in there. And then level 4, which is what most people don't get to, is actually trail stewards. So trail stewards, this would be like your Gork trail steward. They have special privileges
Like
as
St.
well.
Louis County or St. Charles County Parks.
That's one of them. Yeah.
That's another trail steward. So St. Charles County Parks, they're in charge of like Matson Hill, for example.
Sure.
And they can shut down, they can actually close that trail and then disable any user reports for up to 7 days. That's a specific thing that only trail stewards get to see. So if they want to say it's rained and we want to shut it down for 72 hours, for example, they can shut it down for up to 3 days and nobody can go and say green. It'll stay red for up to 3 days.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Because our whole goal was to try to build tools for the people that are maintaining the trails.
Right.
Because we love to ride the trails. Actually, maybe we should start at the origin of why Trekko matters, because not a lot of people actually know this. I didn't know this when I started mountain biking. I thought if it's muddy, that's mountain biking. You're riding through mud and it's a fun time. And some trails, that is fine. And it is okay to like get muddy and ride them.
Some areas.
Yes. But some trails, as you know, Matson's a good example.
Right.
They don't want you to leave ruts. It takes a lot of volunteer hours to come in the next season and fill that in. We've been out there digging before, so we know it takes a lot of work. So the whole idea was inform people before they get to the trailhead and then have to make a bad decision. Because I've arrived at the trailhead of Matson, seen the closed sign and be like, oh, it can't be that bad.
Right.
That's like literally the.
That's
That's like what happened. It's like
Right.
got off work on Friday, showed up at Matson, trail closed. Like, how did we not know?
Then
this?
you have
Like,
to make like a questionable decision at the parking lot. Like,
Right.
am I still gonna ride it or like? It's
Was it actually close? Was it muddy? Did you hike it?
we actually this is
You hiked it.
bad. We wrote it.
And let's say in a hypothetical world, if you were out there, this is all for show. This is not
so
real.
like the sign on it said closed, but I think
Sure.
what we did is like we pulled up the Gork report or maybe some
right.
some online report that was like good to go.
Right.
So then we took that and then
Right.
that's what we wrote with.
That makes sense.
True. So,
But now, and then you updated the Trekko app.
well, the Trevor, it did
didn't
not
exist
exist
yet.
at the time.
We're like, how can we solve this problem?
All right. Now
Yeah.
I'm catching.
This is like when it started, right? So yeah, for us to drive out, we live in St. Louis, like in the
Right,
city.
yeah.
For us to get out to Matson,
Right.
it's a good 45 minutes.
Right.
So that's a bummer when you're chasing the sun.
Yeah.
And you want to get out to the trail and then you realize it's closed. So that was the whole point. Like, can we make something that's so simple to update that people actually keep it up to date?
Right.
And then you know from the couch where you can ride today.
Because that is the problem. I'm a big fan of Gork's website. It is very nice. I always direct people there for trail maps and stuff like that. And they do have the trail conditions on there. But
Mhm.
it's like you said, it's very cumbersome to get logged in. I never remember. I made a super cool username that I don't remember now. So like I can never figure out how to get logged in. And then like I obviously don't know my password. And then like, yeah, it is a bunch of different steps that when you're, tired after a ride, you're not gonna want to go through all that. And or if you have limited signal, now you have to go through a giant website with a bunch of things. So Gork Trails page really good for looking up some trail maps and sorting that kind of stuff up or contributing to local trails. But an easier way is just using the Trekko app. And the more
Right.
people that use it, the better it's going to be. And
Definitely.
it's super easy.
Super easy to use. And our goal is not to replace a Gork or like replace mountain bike project.
Right.
In fact, we want to fit into
Right.
that little spot where they're missing the local rider that already knows the trail. They don't need the map. They just want to know right now what the condition is. And something that's also cool that a lot of people don't know is that the Trekko app on the back end, it's actually every 10 minutes, it's checking the Gork site and it's pulling the latest conditions and adding those to the app. It's doing the same thing for rain outline too, for the St. Charles County parks. So every day that you see like at the beginning, like 9 a.m., they post what the conditions are for like, remind me, Klondike, what's Indian Camp Creek, those ones out there that
Mhm.
St. Charles
Yeah.
County controls. Those get pulled off of rain outline every day. And then every 10 minutes it checks again for Gork. It checks mountain bike project as well. So that's just like, that's some magic in the coding that nobody really knows about,
Yeah,
but
that's
we
super
put all that thought into it. So we could always make sure that we have an accurate report from any corner of the internet, not just the people that report on our app.
Right. It's so dope. Dude.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
it's crazy.
awesome.
Yeah, that we just like made that during the pandemic and then kind of basically solved our own problem is what
Yeah.
we're trying to do. And then ended up being now I would say it's kind of the standard for St. Louis area.
Yeah.
People,
Everybody knows Trekko. here.
everyone knows Trekko. And I see this warms my heart to see on the Facebook page when someone's like, what are the trail conditions? And someone just says, check the Trekko app. And it's not me saying it, it's someone else. And I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, dude. The St. Louis community is really good about like supporting anything local mountain bike related. So we definitely saw that in our first few years when we opened. Quick Cover, I think, is a really great example. Outbound Lighting, you guys, maybe it's just like in St. Louis, we just have a bunch of like really smart, cool people that put together
Bunch of cool
companies.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely cool people here.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And then, I would say like we have like 5 different people listen to us in like Germany and like a few other European places. So it is neat that you can go universal with it. And I think it's good to have. So basically it's like a companion app. You'll have your Trail Forks or whatever else. And then, you'll also have your Trekko app where you can just hit that real quick when you get to the trails. You're like, oh, I don't know if it was good. Nobody's updated it yet. And then you rode. Just like if people, all they have to do is think about it for a half second, click on the app, click 2 more buttons. Do you know how many buttons it is?
It's like 3 buttons.
It is
I think
3.
it's 3. So literally
Okay,
find the trail, so you're scrolling, or you can type it in if you want. Open it, report, and then you got to choose your conditions. So like,
Right.
or you don't even have to. You could just say thumbs up, caution, or thumbs down.
Right.
If you want to go further and choose one of the predetermined
Spider
conditions.
webs.
Spiderwebs is on there specifically for what's that trail in Illinois?
Yeah, SIUE.
Yeah.
SIUE is
Yeah.
why spiderwebs is on there. And then there's also ticks and chiggers for Greensfelder.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
we came out of there one day at night and
Just
then our
load.
legs were crawling.
That is important information.
Yeah.
So is the goal as far as the app goes, is it always just going to be weather, or do you plan on incorporating some more kind of user feedback stuff like that? Because like that is super important information. Like, oh yeah, there is a bunch of ticks at Greensfelder. And I mean, there's signs posted when you go into the park that there's ticks, and you have to use bug spray. Like, it's not a place in the summertime you want to ride
Right.
without DEET on your clothing, at least.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, right now, any of the users can report stuff like the chicks, tiggers, if the trail's broken or something, you'll see that.
Tree down.
Something tree down is actually a big one. So what we tried to do last year, we were trying to get funding to like get a grant to build this out with the Ozark Trail Association. We had them on board when we applied for some grants. It didn't work out, but what we were going to build is basically a down tree reporting tool, and that would take, while you're out riding, all you got to do is snap a photo. Don't even think about the app. Just take a photo of the tree, keep riding, or you see trail damage, snap a photo. Whenever you get back to your car or back to your couch, you upload your report, you include the photo of the down tree, and we can take the GPS coordinates off that photo and put that on a map for like a Sawyer, like Glenn, for example, who works for Gork.
Glenmeyer, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Meyer. We've talked to a bunch of Sawyers about this, and what would work for them is a map, because a lot of times they get a report that's like, hey, there's a down tree between mile marker 5 and 12, and it's near the bridge, and they're like, what does that mean? So I'm going to go walk the trail and see where the tree is.
Yeah.
They also don't know how big it is. That's a big deal, because
Right. What do I
sometimes they
bring?
got to bring chainsaws out if it's too big. And then on certain trails, only certain people are allowed to use gas powered chainsaws. So that's important too. So we did a lot of interviewing of the Sawyers, but a cool tool that we want to build in the future is that tree reporting, and then show live maps. So you don't have to go on Facebook and like screenshot the map, draw an X where the tree is, and then send it over to Glenn.
Which is impossible.
It never works out. It's not fun. And then less
I've
people do
never
it.
done that because it's
Some people do it. Some people are very hardcore. and
which
they-
is awesome.
Yes. We need
But
those
more
people.
people would do it if it was a lot easier or just as simple as taking a picture.
Yeah. And then we talked about that, on the podcast last week, and how in St. Louis, like it's one of the places where I ride unless you ride like immediately after a storm, like you're probably not going to come across down trees. And that wasn't always the case here. That's definitely gotten a lot better in the last like 5 to 6 years. But yeah, I mean, it never comes up, but it's super hard to report. And I know like we got a kid here, Smiley, who volunteers. He's a young man he's on the Wheels Up Enduro team.
Okay.
So he rides a lot around here, and that's what he said. He's like, dude, he was like, I always report on it, and like he'll make super detailed reports. He's like, yeah, you put in your coordinates. So I guess there's something already in the Trekko app that you can do with coordinates and whatnot.
I don't think there's coordinates in the Trekko app yet, but you can like fill out one of the pills that says down trees.
Right.
That's a pre-built one. He might be uploading it to Facebook. That's where I've seen it the most. Is
Okay.
Whenever someone like includes coordinates or like a screenshot,
Okay.
it's usually landing on the Facebook page, and then they literally tag Glenn.
Okay.
And
Nice.
he's just out there.
He might be using like
Well, he wasn't doing
Trekko
it for
map. Maybe he
trees.
was,
I don't know
like,
why he
screenshotting
was
the map.
doing his coordinates, to be honest with
okay.
you. I'm sure it was something social media related.
Yeah.
But not
But yeah,
traditional, not Facebook.
That generation, that next generation though, is the ones who they're going to need to take care of the trails, deal with those down trees and stuff. So we're trying to build like basically the next generation of how you like love your trail and keep up with it and maintain it.
I'm like stuck on like the ease of how easy it is to use, since like technically today was the first time I reported trails and it wasn't signed in, so I didn't realize it. I just assumed I'd already made an account
Yeah.
well before.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's really important for people to know, and that people can just download the app and automatically start reporting stuff.
Mhm.
So even if you go ride somewhere and you thought it was going to be nice and it was muddy, and you get back in your car and you're like, this really blows. I'm
Like
pretty
nobody else
pissed.
should be.
Even if you don't have the Trekko app downloaded, which if you're listening to this at this point, I'm sure you've already gone over and downloaded Trekko app. But either or, you don't have to create your account and everything. You can
Right.
literally just report right then and there that it's muddy.
Yeah.
Whatever trail you thought was going to be cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or if you thought it was going to be muddy and you're like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. And then you get there and it's the best dirt ever. Once you're done and had your way with that trail, then you can report it so that other people can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're out
Definitely.
there. Don't report good trails before you get done riding.
Keep it to yourself until you're done. That's smart.
Yeah, or just I'm going on like, I want to ride tomorrow morning. It's muddy. Everything's smaller. Like, no one's here. There's parking everywhere at Castlewood. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So like you're an app, you developed the app from like
Yeah.
ground up.
Yeah. So yeah, people don't know that either, but you're looking at, there's one more founder besides the two of us, which
Yeah.
we didn't introduce ourselves, I don't think, at the top,
Yeah.
did we?
So
I'm Jake.
and I'm Brandon.
We worked on this Q thing and it didn't work out as good.
So Jake's a developer.
We finish each other.
I-
What do we do?
Sandwiches.
So Jake's a developer. So he's written like every line of code so far for the app.
Yeah.
And we started in 2020.
Okay.
So that was when we were in lockdown, quarantined.
Yeah, we had
time.
a lot of free time at that time. So plenty of time to actually get this thing off the ground. And then
How do you guys know each other?
we actually met through rock climbing, through the rock climbing gym, Climb So Ill.
Sick.
Shout out
Shout
Climb
out,
So Ill.
Yeah.
It's in St. Louis downtown. They also have one in St. Charles now.
The downtown ones. I've never been to the one in St. Charles.
You
but
should
like
go.
the
Like
St.
going to
Louis
see.
one's just like such a good vibe down there.
The vibes are good there.
So I don't know.
And you meet
The
cool
St.
people.
Charles also has great
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
Just check it out.
Okay.
And cool climbing. Yeah, so we just met each other through climbing. So like already kind of lifestyle oriented. I think we both picked up mountain biking right after.
Yeah. In 2018 is when I first got a mountain bike.
Yeah.
Not
So
sure when you got it.
I started mountain biking and then I picked up rock climbing to assist in my mountain biking,
There you go.
which it did make me a way better mountain biker. I mean, just having like all that core strength and like just my balance was so much better on the bike, and I had so much more control of my mountain bike rock climbing. And then I eventually tore my ACL falling bouldering, and so then that hindered my bicycling.
So you were actually
So overall, it made it worse.
I see.
But
So
until
negative.
then, I was like, I'm way better at mountain biking now. And,
like cross training for mountain biking.
Yeah,
that's
it was dope. And I did it because like I was riding my mountain bike every day, and I was like, I can't, like my legs just weren't having time to recover. So I was like, I need to find something else to do on my days off from riding my mountain bike. So I was like, I'll just go climb. And then I went to climb soil for a while.
There you go.
I need to
Yeah.
get back into it. I just bought a rock climbing helmet.
Did you?
Yeah.
They just opened a new top rope section in Rockwood Summit. Rockwood Reservation.
I'll be using it on an indoor
Indoor
on a
only?
belay.
Okay.
I'll be wearing my rock climbing helmet.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
really for.
Yeah, you gotta
Not
protect
for
your
anything
noggin.
cool. Yeah, what's up with the thing? We'll get to that later. So we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah, we don't want
So
to go to rock climbing.
no, but you can rock climb out here at Rockwood
Mhm.
now.
They
Have you
just-
climbed there?
Yeah.
We checked it out. We didn't bring a rope when we went there. You need a rope because it's like a top rope or lead climbing. It's
Okay.
not boulders, which
Okay.
we do primarily. Like
We
90%
mostly
You can
boulder.
top rope.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but we mostly climb boulders. And then doing the mountain bike plus rock climbing thing is great for whenever we go on a trip to like Tahoe or Moab or something, because then you have your leg day and you like crush it for 20 miles.
Yeah.
And the next day you go and boulder, and that's mostly upper body. So
Right.
it's really works well together.
Right. Yeah, I used to boulder as well, and then like I was working on, it was like a V4 or whatever it was. It was on the eyeball,
Mm-hmm.
and it was coming off the eyeball, and like it was just like two flat holds, and like your legs were up above you, and when you came off of it, you would just spin out. But it was on like the bottom of the eyeball, so you're not that high, and it was my daughter's birthday. And normally I go in the morning when like no one's there and like I can just zone out and do my own thing. I took my daughter because it was her birthday and she got like, new gear and everything that day.
Yeah.
And her and my friend were laying down below. And then I was doing it. I've been working on that. I couldn't get the route like all week. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And there's a ton of people there. So I was like, I'm going to do it when I'm fresh. And when I got like all my energy to me, I want to be able to nail this. So I wasn't like warmed up at all. And like the day before I had left, because I like tweaked my knee out at Two Rivers Mountain Bike Park.
Okay.
So like I knew I was having issues, but I was like, oh, with all these people here, and like I didn't have my normal on my way to rock climb ritual. And so I came down. The first time I came down, like planted my leg and then like was spit like because it like spun me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like running it out. So it was only like 6, 7, 8 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And I spun it out and I ran it out. It was fine. And then I went to do it a second time. And then the second time my leg planted in the mat. And then my body just kept turning. Went, pop, pop.
This is how you blew your ACL?
Yeah. And then the gym went silent, dude, because everybody heard it. And most everybody knew exactly what that was. And then the owner of the gym was there climbing, luckily, at the same time.
Dave Chancellor.
So he like, I was just like on all fours. And he came over. He was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And it was like, it took a couple of minutes before they like got me up. And when I got up, like the entire mat, well, like there's just a puddle of sweat, like 20 feet around me. Like it was no longer a white mat. It was just like from like just sweat from like, I guess when it tore, my body was reacting. But and then like I went and sat down and they're like, "Do you need crutches or anything?" I was like, "No, I think I'll be cool." And then like I went to go walk away and I stood up and like just nothing on my right side. I was like,
no,
"Oh, that's not good."
that is a terrible feeling.
Yeah. And then a couple of days later I went to the hospital and they were like, "Yeah, you tore your ACL."
Dude, rock climbing. That's more. I injured myself pretty good at the Greensfelder Enduro last year at Matt Johnson's event.
Yeah.
We went over the bars on that sketchy jump that's over near, it's like stage 2. I don't remember what area it's over, but like the jump is awkward and you would know it if you saw it, but it's like, it kind of ramps you vertical.
Okay.
Over the bars, landed on my shoulder, did a tumble. I thought I had rolled it out pretty good. And then I was like literally stage 2, still hadn't completed the stage. So I was like, I think I can still ride. I think I'm good. I'm going to get on the bike. And then I see my bone go.
Oh no.
I was like, oh shoot.
He's like, push it back in.
Yeah. So then I go, there's like a group of medics. I was like, can anyone like push this back in? I think I dislocated my shoulder. And they're like, we are not touching that.
Did they do anything to it or did you just leave it?
Well, it was a grade 3 shoulder separation. So it didn't matter.
It wasn't your collarbone.
No, it was not the collarbone.
Luckily, your shoulder
it was
fell out.
The shoulder, literally. Yeah. So I like limped out of the woods.
Our mannequin in that room, like his arm fell out of socket. So
that's
he's
exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was
We're
pretty
gonna have to
gnarly.
rename him.
Yeah, you can name him after me. Let's call him Greensfelder.
But back to the rock climbing. So that is, if someone wants to go climb top rope or whatever, that's a place that would be worthwhile to go out to and check out. Because there's really, where else do you climb outdoor in the St. Louis area?
There's a place called St. Francis State Park, which is like what is that? By Raging Rivers, Alton. Is that Alton, Illinois?
No. You're thinking of St. Francis is in Missouri.
Pierre Marquette. I'm sorry.
Pierre Marquette. Yeah. I think what you should really do though is go down to Elephant Rocks. Have you been down there? It's actually kind of close to Shepherd.
I've been to Elephant Rock like as a child running around on the boulders.
Exactly. Yeah. So those boulders actually have really good rock climbing like problems routes.
Sure.
It's called problems when they're boulder routes. They're called
that
problems.
makes sense.
Anyway, we go down there like many times.
Okay.
I don't think there's any top rope there, but lots of great boulders.
Right.
Yeah, no top rope.
That makes sense.
Which is easier because all you need is chalk and shoes. And we use crash pads as well.
Yeah.
Whenever you go out there.
Yeah.
Don't land on yourself.
And land on, don't try to like run things out. That's a bad idea. You typically try to fall on your side or fall.
Falling is actually an important part. Yeah. Learning how to fall.
Yeah. I mean, I never, like when I would finish a route, it's not like I would ever just land on my legs and run it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was higher, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Shouldn't have been the cool kid that night.
Yeah.
It's April 20th, 2016.
You remember?
Yeah. Well, my daughter's birthday is the day before.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was 420, which was ironic that the condition I was in when I was still sober. Not a good way to climb if you ask me.
Well, back to the app. Actually, this is highly relevant.
Yeah, I can share that screen too.
Okay,
Because
so
I never did do that.
one thing we want to do in the future, for the future of the app, is we're going to go multi-sport. So right now it's completely mountain bike trail conditions,
Sick.
but we'd like to also add rock climbing crags because we ourselves are big time climbers, as you know. So an important thing for climbing conditions is like, how humid is it?
Sure.
Do you have friction on the rock? This is like when you're doing kind of more advanced climbing. You need,
Sure.
when it's really hard to climb, you're on like a very small edge. You need the best conditions to climb.
Okay.
So in the future, we're going to be gearing towards that. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have multi-activity. So if you go into the app and you want to look for, like if you're a mountain biker, you don't care about anything else, you'll just see mountain bike stuff. It won't matter to you. But if you're like, I'm looking for hiking trails, maybe we could eventually. Yeah, disc golf is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
People have been asking for that.
That's why we have them here.
So
I
once-
don't personally disc golf, but a
you
lot
guys-
of people
yeah.
who are into being outside, whether it's riding mountain bikes or
Yeah.
skateboards.
And
stuff.
sometimes like those parks will get really muddy and gross. You don't want to
They do.
play on them.
Right.
So yeah, just adding a new activity into the app is going to open up our audience really wide too. So we can get all of our rock climbing friends reporting about the rock climbing conditions. Sometimes things are broken, like a bridge or
change.
like pieces of gear that are stuck on the wall permanently for climbing.
Okay.
Those need to be serviced. So
Right.
then this is kind of like the down tree report. Someone snaps a
Right.
photo that goes back to a steward. They're in charge of maintaining the area.
Right.
That's kind of what we're trying to build, is like a whole ecosystem where the people that are using the outdoor places that we love can like have a communication back with the people that maintain those places.
Right.
And we always want to be aiming towards helping the people that maintain it the most, making their lives easier.
Yeah, and there's no centralized, as of now, no centralized location where people can be like, oh yeah, this is where I go to see the conditions of things.
Exactly.
Because that's, especially when you travel, like you don't know if a trail that you're looking at is a popular trail that people go to and maintain all the time, or if it's something that nobody cares about
Mhm.
and nobody rides. And yeah, it would be terrible.
Yeah, the
So,
traveling part of it is like when we do go travel, like to Moab, for example, we don't know the Facebook group that has like
Right.
everybody talking about
Yeah.
the trails. So it's really convenient when you just pull the app up and
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, the app is also, the feed is automatically sorted by the most recent. So you're saying like a trail that's not popular, that
Mhm.
wouldn't be at the top. The one
Right.
that's been reported most recently would be at the top. So then
Right.
you know you're getting at least relevantly, like relatively accurate information on
Sure.
something.
Dude, I dig it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And I like that you guys are exploring into other things. The disc golf one's big because
Yeah, it is.
the poor disc golfers have not even like they're like, because I'm in their Facebook groups and stuff like that, so I can keep an eye on things, what people dig and don't dig. And yeah, I mean, they're constantly talking about that, but there's only like 4 different dudes, but those 4 dudes are committed and they know the conditions of every part. So they, in the disc golf world, there's Glenn Myers
Yes.
and those guys out there as well that are on top of it, who would love if they could
Yeah. So we
get
would,
that information.
we
out
would take
there.
those guys, because those are the hardcore guys that know what they're talking about. And we'd put them as like a steward
Right,
level.
exactly.
And give them, you get a little check mark next to your name whenever you report as a steward.
Right.
So we would put them in that category, and then they would be the source of truth, which is really important. We need people that are sources of truth to be giving out the conditions for everybody. It's nice when everyone reports, but like the people that really know the trails or really know the disc golf conditions, those guys are highly valuable
Right.
for what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, would you guys be open to putting like regular golf courses on your app, or does it need to be an outdoor focus?
I'm not opposed. The
Right.
lifestyle.
Maybe that's long term.
It could be
10-year
long term.
plan.
Yeah, it could be long term. I'm not opposed to putting anything on there. We would put like the Merrimack kayaking conditions,
Sure.
like when the water's low or you're tubing or something. It sucks to drag your canoe or drag your craft through the water. So like
River
we can-
levels. I think we've talked about surfing. Like,
snow, of course, like
yes,
for,
that was a good one.
for snowboarding,
So
skiing.
the best thing for people to do if they want to see like all this stuff, if they want to see you be able to continue to develop these things and continue to talk to, different, whether it's state parks or tourism places in different areas to really, because I mean, that's the thing. If we could have like a centralized place where everybody knows they can go to look up conditions for whatever, just to see if things, just the basic information, if it's even worthwhile to check into. Because I mean, that's a basic thing. Like, I don't know even how else you would do that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
but
the goal.
if everybody wants to see that happen, and they have to download the app and use it so that you know that people like it and you can continue to dedicate your time and passion and hard work to it. So I think, and St. Louis is always a good example. But people listen all over the place, but I think it'd be especially cool if maybe you're somewhere else to do that. But here in St. Louis, super easy for any of us whenever we ride. If you open up Trekko app and just mark the conditions really quick and move on.
Yeah. St. Louis.
Our trails are free. So
Yeah.
that's a good way to pay back trail gods, is just update those things, let's push that forward, and then you can see things continue to grow.
Yeah. St. Louis has been awesome because we're both locals, grew up here. But the reception has been incredible here. We've tried to get into other markets like Bentonville, for example. We went down there for Bike Fest, have some traction. We have some shops on board, but they move so fast, and like there's a lot going on down there. You got to be in the right conversations with the right people. Yeah. So that's tough. But like Springfield's a good spot. We got Two Rivers. They're just now coming on as trail stewards. And then you were saying you have to download the app to see the conditions, but there's actually a widget that we can give you from Mountain Bike Shed that would sit on your website and just show like Chubb, everything would be right there. And it's going to be the same like information that's also on the app sitting on your website. We can get you that for free. We actually have that in one mountain bike rental place we use in Hurricane, Utah. Okay. They have Trekko on their homepage right now. So like it's out there, it exists. We just got to get the word out a little more.
Heck yeah.
And then another great way to support the app, because right now it's totally free for everyone, and we'd like to keep it free for the users forever, because we don't want someone to have to pay to make a report, because then they're not going to do it. It's going to suck. So a great way for shops to support, which Mountain Bike Shed has been supporting since like day one, is becoming a sponsor of the app. And then with the sponsorship, you pay Trekko a monthly fee so that we can keep the lights on, essentially, because we got to pay for server costs.
Very reasonable.
It's a very reasonable fee. And then you get the name of your shop, so it says Mountain Bike Shed right there in the logo, right next to some of the trail conditions. It's not gaudy. We like specifically took a lot of steps to make it feel like it's naturally part of the app, not something that's distracting, just something that shows you like, hey, these people help us keep the lights on. They care about what's going on here. You can tap the logo and then see more about the business, or maybe you have a deal going on or whatever. So that's kind of our model for scaling out. And so far, it's offsetting a little bit of the cost, but again, that's something we need to scale out to grow. And it's starting to build. But yeah, people like yourself.
For us, it was a no-brainer to do it. It should be a no-brainer for any bike shop or any component manufacturer to do something like that. And yeah, it is really clean looking. I think that's how I downloaded that originally.
And then these as well. I'm not sure if this will pick up.
You're in there.
Okay, so this is a sticker holder. We actually 3D printed this sticker holder. It's a totally custom design. It's got the Trekko logo in there, and it holds our sticker. And these are free. We just got to remember to come back by bike shops and update it. And then on the back, whenever you grab one of these, it has a QR code to download the app. So these will just sit like at a point of sales. So for example, it's on the Mountain Bike Shed counter right here when you're checking out. So if you see one of those, snag a sticker. We are in a few bike shops around St. Louis, so you'll probably see it. And if you don't see it, let them know about the Trekko app, and then that'll help us get the word out as well.
Yeah, and I love that you guys gave us a holder for those, because it's hard. I have like my whole desk over here is just full of random stickers, mostly mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah, we got feedback that like we were dropping off stacks of stickers, and people were like, "That's great." And then the next time we come in the shop, they're either gone because they threw them under the counter, or they just spread out across the counter. And they're like, "This is useless." So yeah, we 3D print those. It takes like 7 hours to print one of those, but it's worth it to bring it along.
I like it even more now that I know it took that long.
Yeah, dude, like this. Yeah, this is not a quick process. And the design of it also took. We made quite a few versions of this thing as well. So this was the coolest we came up with. It's got a little blurb on the back. But yeah, it's got the mountains in the back too, and then it offsets the stickers on like this cool angle, so it's fun to grab one. But that was the whole idea.
Yeah, stop by, pick it up.
Sabrina, what do you do with Trekko app?
So by day, I'm a pharmacist, a pharmacy manager. So the side that I am more familiar with, since I don't develop, I'm like business relations, or like talking to clients, or doing any administrative stuff that Jake doesn't want to do or doesn't have time for.
There are so many details that would fall through the cracks if it wasn't for him coming in and like handling the stuff that I just don't have the bandwidth to do. So like he's just kind of like a catch-all for whatever's coming in and handling stuff. He also does some of our designs. So this is a It's like a Christmas sweater. There's only 2 of these, but that was a custom design. Actually, he made this one too. So we have some clothing. We have a T-shirt. Oh, this one.
Got it on underneath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing Smiley said. Because I was like, yeah, guys from the Trekko App are coming in. He was like, oh, I would have worn my Trekko shirt if I went in.
Oh, this is actually great. We would love your feedback on this. What
Yeah.
we want to do is make a bike shop T-shirt
Yeah.
for shop employees to wear.
Okay.
And we had some maybe some graphics or clever things you could say on the shirt.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, and I'm just hitting you with this on the spot. But
Yeah.
if you were wearing a shirt for Trekko in this shop, or your employees were, what
People would want to buy it.
they would want to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. If we were, and typically that's, and I always have, I happen to just always wear box stuff, but people typically, once they see it on somebody, they're like, oh, even that fool doesn't look completely ridiculous wearing that. So they're like, I would probably look pretty good then, So no, they love that. So yeah, if we did that, and yeah, I think the more clever the shirt, the better.
So this is what I was thinking.
We were thinking about doing that too. We've got a whole idea, but yeah, I want to do kind of hidden messages in shirts.
Okay,
stuff.
we were gonna make this not hidden at all, very in your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was gonna be, don't ask me about the trails,
Okay.
and then Trekko on the back, or a little app or something over here.
So
Just
I would not wear that shirt
because it says don't ask me about the trails. Okay.
Because I want people to ask me about
You
trails.
do? Okay.
How about
okay.
ask me about the trails?
Yeah.
We visited some bike shops, and there were a lot of our phone calls, and a lot of people just come into the shop and ask about trail conditions. So you love that? That's good. That's good. So
My favorite
that is good.
phone
Okay, this feedback was also from Bentonville when they just get inundated with
yeah, that
phone
would
calls.
be
Every phone call
ridiculous.
is
Yeah.
what are the trails? Where can I ride? And they're like, dude.
Yeah, I'd be looking at, if I were them, I would have a pre-recorded thing that says press 1 for trail conditions,
Mhm.
and then have it go to some sort of something that says download the Trekko app.
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Don't call
But
me. But
you
no,
want people
here
to ask
I
you.
love it. Yeah, because
That's great to
You
know.
know,
That's good to know.
people there's a couple from Iowa that always calls and asks about trail conditions before they come down, because they'll come down as things are melting up there and they can't ride, so they will normally make a trip here, but not that many people make trips here. Some folks from Chicago do, so we'll get calls every now and again from people far away, but and then local people will call us and be like, how's it look out there?
Mhm.
But I like it because if people come in, that's the first thing I ask people is did you ride?
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah, how was it? And then, they'll tell me. And then, so ideally anybody who's came into my shop, I've asked them if they did ride, I know what at least they think about the trails.
Okay.
So we're like the old school version of the Trekko app.
Yeah.
I think you were actually
And I'm
person-
nostalgic, so I don't mind having that conversation.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
everybody who called my phone would just ask me about trails and
Then it
talk
would
to me
suck.
about trails, I would love to answer my phone. Now I have a call blocker to keep that from happening on my personal phone when it calls me about trail conditions.
Yeah.
It's just problems.
Yeah. And we need to get you the widget as well for your site.
Yeah, I'm into
I'll
that.
make sure that we follow up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a little texting thing on there that I need to remove, and it'll replace that perfectly.
Perfect.
So that would be fun. Yeah, and that seems like a no-brainer for any bike shop
Yeah.
to have on their website as well.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. So Brandon, are you having conversations with more St. Louis County Parks? Obviously, as Lorraine outlined, they're very proactive on their trail conditions. I don't feel like other parks departments are so much.
Mhm.
So, is that something that you're trying to open up that conversation of hey, more people are using the parks now. They're getting destroyed because that's the biggest issue when it rains.
Mhm.
Hikers go out there, people go out their dogs. They absolutely have no idea that they're not supposed to be out there. And I used to go trail running when it was too muddy to ride my mountain bike. I would go trail running, and I went to Mastodon. It was pretty rocky, so I wasn't destroying trails by any means. But that was my activity to do. And I'm sure a lot of people, go hiking. They don't think that they're damaging anything. So having a place where people can look at trail conditions and stuff like that's probably important to help maintain these trails, because more people are going outside. There's no
for
ifs, ands, or
sure,
buts
for
about
sure.
that.
Yeah, more people in the world and more people are doing outdoor activities since COVID has happened. But to answer your question, I think a lot of the trails around St. Louis are in St. Charles County.
Mhm.
But we've talked to St. Charles County trail stewards and park rangers, and they've been really open to just brainstorming and just getting on board with the Trekko app in general. So the rain outline has been helpful. We've talked to them about the app, and like I said, they've been open to having Trekko a part of like the integration process of informing people. So St. Louis, I feel like, has been like locked in that department.
But like outside of St. Louis, like
but like St. Louis, so like St. Louis County, not to like get you guys in trouble or ruin any conversation or things, but it is possible that like the superintendent for St. Louis County, every St. Louis County park has a superintendent. It's not really that hard for them to have a Trekko app and just very easily, especially if it's the day after it rained, just hitting trails bad and moving on with their day.
But those county parks, anything government related is going to be very stuck in their ways, and they have rain outline, and I know they're paying like an annual fee for rain outline that's way higher than zero, which is ours. And so they're like, that's the way they update. And I think they actually have some people, one feature of rain outline, and this might even be the way it started, was a literal phone call. It's like you can call a hotline and see what is open and closed, like the parks or like your little kid's baseball team.
I think you can still call 314-321-2222 and get the weather.
You sure can, yeah.
But I don't think anyone does that.
That's what I was surprised to hear as well. They seem to claim that they still use that feature.
Does St. Louis County have a rain outline as well?
St. Charles does.
St. Charles, only St. Charles.
Yeah, I don't know if St. Louis County does.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I mean that's as just a person who I like to know what I'm getting into before I get into things, and because I don't like riding when it's muddy at all, because I don't want to have to clean my bike and pull because I'm the kind of person that feels like I have to pull things apart, or I just like my mountain board. As I was saying, I was like, oh, my mountain board's pretty dirty right now.
That doesn't even look that dirty.
It's
maybe dirty by your standards.
Well, I just know that I rode it through a few puddles, and I have not taken everything apart. So I know there's
some water in there.
A lot of things behind things
I see.
Probably need to be addressed. But I got new trucks coming, so
so you'll deal with it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pull everything apart when those come. Yeah, because I keep hollering out the bearings. It's so funny. Like those boards, it's we don't sell them here or anything like that, and they're out in Nottingham, England. It's a company called Trampa. And they just like CNC their own stuff. Like they're the only company that makes electric mount boards. Like there's nobody else that does it.
And they build it ground up.
Yeah, dude. There's just nonstop problems. It's so dope though. But yeah, it's like 10 people that run the company, and they've been doing it for I don't know, probably 20 years or something like that.
Yeah,
but
that's why they've been doing that for 20 years. Those mountain boards.
Mountain boarding started in like the early 90s.
Okay.
In like California, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Where everything cool starts.
And then, it's hard to do around here. Now they have like brakes and stuff on them, I guess. So
yeah, is that an electric one?
That's electric. That's got dual 3,800 watt motors. So almost 8,000 watts.
Yeah.
Pretty torquey.
That's a different day than not having an electric mountain board.
The brakes are the biggest thing. I think that's what I like most about the electric boards is that they have brakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I don't have to. Not that you can do that on a mountain board anyway.
Yeah.
You guys got to find a hill.
Yeah, you pretty much just hike that up to the top, right? Then bomb a hill.
My buddies would ride at Eureka Mountain a couple times. I rode at Eureka Mountain Bike Park, but like they don't have brakes, so you just got to. You start going down the hill and you're committed, or you just have to like dive.
Or die.
That's what I said.
You just have to die.
My board, like I had a few. I rode Monday, and I rode some pretty tight single track. I hadn't been used to single track, so I kind of caught some trees on the side of the trail a few times. But that board's so heavy, it's like 40 pounds. So it like plants itself pretty good to where you have like a half second to like kind of look around and be like, what am I going to dive at? And then you can like start grabbing trees and things. So.
And your feet are strapped in, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a part of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You just aim the trucks at like the most solid thing to stop you. And then
there's no like a snowboard stop, like that turn.
No.
Okay.
No, you just eat
shit. Yeah. Okay.
It would just catch on a little pebble and then boom, straight down. Especially not those. I've got really big tires on mine. Most of the time, they're not that big. Why are we talking about mountain boarding? We were supposed to be talking about rock climbing.
Yeah, no, we were supposed to not be talking about rock climbing.
But the Trekko app, and ultimately, you designed it. You guys have been pushing and promoting it. You're going to continue to do that. The more people that use it, the easier it is when you go to whether it's Parks Department or state agencies or other bike shops or just anyone. It's a lot easier for you guys to be like, hey, this is a useful product that people want if people are constantly updating it. So, I mean, is her point of updating it too often? Like, what if I just ride Greensfelder every day of my life, and every time I get done riding, I hit like good trails, private webs, because I ride in the morning.
I don't think that would be bad, because the more recent the report is, the more you can trust it. Like if it's 16 days old, because you were like, I went the last 15 days, but it's the same, then I'm not really going to trust it because it's got such an old tag on it. Yeah, one other cool thing is that it shows the rainfall, and I haven't seen this on any other app. It shows the historic rainfall for up to 72 hours before, so it'll show the inches that we had like at the Greensfelder trailhead.
Right.
So even if it didn't get reported in 16 days, but you see that there's been 3.5 inches, you can probably make a good like estimate that it might be too muddy to go out there and hit it.
It also kind of predicts freeze thaw. So if like the temperature drops below freezing, the ground temperature drops. That'll be on the report.
We'll throw a little warning for a freeze thaw. It's like freeze thaw potential because it's a little sunny, but even though it's like 28 degrees, it's too sunny. It might become a freeze thaw thing.
Kind of like if you drive a Subaru, it'll say
warning ice.
Possible every time it hits 32 degrees.
Yeah, you're like, great. Brains it. Yeah. So similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also air quality. We visited Tahoe, and there was like some forest fires.
That's true. So like, the rampant forest fires make the air pretty bad in certain areas. So it's not as big a deal here. Like sometimes it'll get triggered here for like pollen and say that it's to like sensitive groups. It'll be a tough time breathing. So you also see the air quality right next to the rainfall in the last 72 hours right there on the app. And then any kind of extra warnings, like if it's really windy, it'll let you know that too. Because like that might be a concern if you're trying to bike and it's a pain in the ass to bike when it's super windy.
Heat advisories.
Yeah, super hot.
Yeah,
standard weather stuff. But all that's right there. So basically the whole goal was like, don't go check. Shouldn't have to go check like the radar, the Doppler, and like see what it was in the past 72 hours, because it pulls from iweather.net. People post that on the Facebook page sometimes, and they're like, here's the rainfall in the last 72 hours. So I saw that all the time, and I was like, let's just pull that information.
You stole Carl's job. That's Carl Watts.
Yes.
Perfection.
Carl, I'm sorry. You can still post if you want, but it's all right there in the app.
Yeah. Well, he's not allowed on Facebook half the time anymore. So.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
But no, that's super cool. I know I really appreciate the ease of it, and that I think the biggest thing is the rainfall. It's super easy to look at that everywhere. I think that's what everybody digs about it.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to message Carl Watts and be like,
yeah,
what was the rainfall?
Please.
I do like a lot of research. I don't know what he does in his free time now. Obviously, he posts things on Facebook he shouldn't in his free time. So we may be getting Carl in trouble by getting more people on the Trekko app, because now he's not going to have any questions to answer.
True. Well, yeah.
We could all somebody asking a question on Facebook. I'm sure
we could all probably post less on Facebook and have healthier lives.
Maybe, dude. So much more fun.
Yeah, some people do live on the Facebook forums. But yeah, Trekko app. If you are a mountain bike rider, use it. Yes. Download it. Check the trails before you go. Report after you're done. If you're a trail steward, contact us, because we want to get you in as a checkmark verified user. And there's contact info on the website, trekko.app. If you're a bike shop, also contact us, because we can throw your info in front of our very specific mountain bike users. So
it's very affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. You can attest. So yeah, that's
compared to other things that you will never reach a mountain biker with, like radio ads or anything else.
You can spend a lot of money on radio ads, but every single set of eyeballs that you see right now anyway is all mountain bikers. Every single one on the Trekko app. And in the future, it'll be rock climbers and kayakers and just everyone outdoor.
What is your kind of timeline plans? I guess are you at this full time as far as developing, or do you also have?
So we all three founders have full-time jobs as well. So this was entirely nights and weekends. And like,
how'd you learn how to develop an app?
I actually taught myself a couple of years prior.
You downloaded an app that taught you?
Yeah, I downloaded an app and it was like, write this and you'll create this app. And then it just kept happening. I just made apps all the way down.
Very cool.
Yeah, I just learned. There's a lot of
The
resources.
Trekko app actually created itself.
Yeah. Eventually, it'll just report its own conditions, and then we won't even need humans.
It'll send a
anymore.
drone out to
Yeah.
all the trails, like do core samples on the
Okay,
soil.
that's actually funny you said that, because now I'm gonna bust out this thing, which was the original vision of Trekko app before it was even an app. So this right here is a. Now we're getting nerdy, but this is how it started. I don't know anything about this. I had to do a lot of research to even understand what's going on here and ask some people that know.
Uh-huh.
But this right here is basically a moisture prong. So you would put
Uh-huh.
this into the ground, and then I see you're looking at this.
Yeah.
So this is connected to like a little microcontroller. All of that lives inside this rock, which was a 3D printed rock.
First 3D print.
Yeah, first thing I ever 3D printed. And this was like 2019 or 2018.
Okay.
So basically
I love how the first thing you 3D printed was a rock.
was this gross rock. Yeah.
I love it.
But it's pretty stable. And the idea was, so there's like a slot in the bottom of this thing.
Right.
The prong sticks out the bottom. All this housing stays in the center.
Sure.
And I can't even probably get it to do it right now, but that'll stick right through the hole. And that goes in the ground. And then you put the cap on. And this just looks like a regular rock. And this would be out there at the trail all the time.
Right.
And it would be reading off the ground moisture, like what the current conditions are,
Uh-huh.
and then relaying that back via a cell tower. And I was like, this is brilliant. I've solved the solution of like, what's the current like condition at the trailhead? But what it actually just gave me was some number between 0 and 1,024. And I had no way to correlate that number to what the quality of the trail condition was.
Okay.
So then I was like, I actually need to go backwards and create some way to get qualitative data, which is the app. So I need users to say, it's currently muddy. It's currently like too many puddles to ride.
Mhm.
And then eventually the goal was put those sensors out at the like very sensitive spots.
Right.
And say, like, if this is dry, we know the rest of the trail is dry.
Right.
Or like, if this is super underwater, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I do that at my house. Like, and I can tell I have certain place where I look in my yard and it tells me the trail conditions at Stinging Nettle, because I'm always used to, I'll look at that and then go there, and then I'll know if this area is dry. Then that means it used to be the parking lot out back of the shop. If there was any puddles, then it meant nothing was rideable. But as soon as the puddles got to like only certain like 3 spots, then I knew that the trails were good and I could start telling people they could go right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, and that is true. You can look, and even for like superintendents of parks and stuff who aren't actually going out on the trails, over time, you can identify an area that's near your work shed that you can look at and be like, well, if this spot's dry, then 90% of the trail is probably going to be dry. So I feel safe now after a rain. If I see this puddle gone, I know to, update the trails as good to go.
Exactly.
Or not good to go. If I see that it's muddy right there and there's, obviously a puddle, I know I can mark my trails as bad, or that I should maybe go and investigate it.
Yeah.
Because we got to maintain our park trails.
Agreed. That's why we're here.
Well, we're at like 52 minutes.
Perfect.
I think that's everything, right?
Yeah. That feels
Trekko
good.
app, you guys are moving and shaking to do things. So eventually you could like, not that I'm ever a fan of putting cameras on trails, but like, eventually maybe that's something that's incorporated, like, some sort of actual video footage of it. Or like you said, obviously that's something that's in your head with monitoring and finding a way to do that. So support the app, and then maybe some really cool stuff will come from you too. And you can get everybody on board so that there's actually a centralized location.
Yeah.
If you want to do outdoor stuff, you have at least some of the information to get you there.
Yeah, you totally nailed it. Yeah, if you want to do outdoor stuff, check the Trekko app. That's the idea.
Sick. All right. Thanks, guys.